on, everybody? Welcome back to the ILLMented Reviews. I am your host, Mood616, and thank you once again for stopping in, guys. Yes, this is the ILLMented Reviews episode 4. We're going to take it all the way back and resurrect this series, which is dedicated to reviewing films that are just not part of the horror genre. So anything goes, hence what we're doing here today. So yeah, episode 4 here on the ILLMented Reviews is a Shaw Brothers film from 1980, the year I was conceived and born, and it goes by the name of The Flag of Iron. This is actually a Shaw Brothers film I've never seen before, so this one's coming courtesy of the fine folks over at 88 Films, which is pretty cool. This is the new commissioned artwork for it right there. Here's the original, which I'll probably use on the poster like I always do. I love old Hong Kong poster art. Original artwork for Hong Kong films are just fantastic, man. I'm a big fan of them. Yeah, so like I said, this is actually one that I've never seen. This is from the year 1980. And yeah, you know, this is towards the end of the big Shaw Brothers huge run. I know they produced films quite drastically into about the mid-80s, and then it kind of tapered off from there and stuff. So, but they were still producing tons until they just kind of weren't. So, but yeah, this one's directed by Chang Sheh, who also directed Five Deadly Venoms, which is one I've actually really adore. The One-Armed Swordsman, among films, the ones that are labeled on the back here. But I've seen both of those films, actually very, very good films. And this one's starring a plethora of familiar Shaw Brothers faces and stuff. I'm really, really bad with names, so I'm not going to go into those because I don't feel like butchering everyone's names. But if you're a big fan of Shaw Brothers, you'll definitely recognize these guys from tons of Shaw Brothers films. So basically, getting into the synopsis of this one. This one is about, basically in the beginning of the film, the Iron Flag clan, they're having kind of this dinner with their rivals, and ultimately it breaks out into a fight, and the leader of the Iron Flag clan is actually murdered, mysteriously. Nobody knows what actually happened to him and stuff like that, so now there's going to be a big investigation, and what happens is the Iron Flag clan basically appoints Chow Fang to be the new leader of the clan. And then Brother Lo, he kind of volunteers basically to take the heat for what has happened here. So they send him away for a year. He goes off to this restaurant where he's just kind of laying low and doing his thing. And Chow Fang, new leader, actually says that, you know, he's going to send him money and help him out while he's over there, while he's in his kind of year, you know, in his year bid or whatever. But ultimately that doesn't happen. He's starting to wonder what the hell is going on. And then all of a sudden, like, one assassin after another basically is trying to kill Brother Lo, and you know, after like 7-8 attempts on his life, he's kind of getting the picture, like, you know, something's seriously wrong here, like this just isn't right, why are people trying to kill me, kind of thing. Then ultimately this white assassin by the name of, not white assassin, but this guy dressed in white by the name of Spearman, he comes to his rescue one day, saves his life. So he teams up with his other brother, Iron Monkey. And so the three of them set off to figure out what is going on with this potential conspiracy that's involving their leader's death and stuff like that. So that is the synopsis of the movie, the short and long of it. Now, my thoughts on this one. Now, first up, this movie runs about 113 minutes. It is a tad bit too long. I will say there is a ton of story. There's a ton of plot in this one. This one has so many twists and turns in the third act. It's ridiculous. Like, there's more twists and turns in this film than watching an M. Night Shyamalan movie on a fucking roller coaster. It's crazy how many twists and turns there is in the third act of this. So there is a lot of story. There is a lot of dialogue. There is a lot of, very conventional storytelling, but at the same time, it's very modern with all the twists and turns and stuff. It's kind of cool. I really like it. But, you know, what really separates, you know, these type of movies from everything else is the action sequences, right? When you watch a Shaw Brothers movie, you're really there for the action sequences. And I will say the action sequences here really do deliver. I love the Iron Flag clan. What their specialty is that they fight with flags on poles. Like, just like this. The flag on the pole and shit. And I love these sequences, man. They're choreographed so well. Like, there's so many great stunts involved in these things, and there's a lot of it too in the third act, especially the third act. There's not so much of the flag pole fighting throughout the film until the third act, but yeah, the fight scenes are really what sells it here, especially the middle part of the film. So after we get this whole introduction with the leader being killed and stuff, and Brother Lo being sent off, it basically kind of turns into a video game at points. It's really funny, actually. So you got Brother Lowe, he's doing his thing in this restaurant, he's serving food, and then all of a sudden, like, one assassin after another just keeps trying to kill him. And it's literally like a video game, you know? It's like a main boss will show up and he'll defeat him, and then another one will show up and he'll defeat him, and it's just absolutely hilarious. This is really great scene where he fights off this pork butcher, and he's this big fat pork butcher and shit, and he just does him in so well. It's great. That's one thing that's pretty noticeable about this. I've seen a lot of Shaw Brothers films. I haven't seen a lot of Shaw Brothers films either. This is actually one of the more bloody ones I've seen recently. I was actually quite shocked at the amount of weapon use in this. This is one of those more weapon use fighting films more than the kicking and punching kind of kung fu. So you get a lot of action with the weapons. So you get a lot of blood and you get a lot of penetration with weapons and things like that, which I think is really cool. So that one kind of separates itself from some of the ones I've seen recently, especially from this 88 Films line, which I really do like. But yeah, so the fight scenes are really cool in this. But yeah, you know, coming down to the third act in this movie, it's just like one plot twist after another. It's almost comical. There's so many twists in this, but you know, it does hold its own in the narrative because what everything kind of comes down to is it kind of makes sense and shit, and it's very typical. You know, the movie does what it does, and it's just like bam, it's over. But you know, 113 minutes. Like I said, I think it runs a little bit too long. I think they probably could have trimmed off a little bit of, you know, a little bit of the dialogue that's in this and stuff. You don't need all of that stuff. But yeah, really good one, man. You know, it's very much like a typical Shaw Brothers film. Like a lot of these movies were kind of shot on the same sets and things like that. They sound and look the same. But like I said, it's the fight scenes, it's the choreographed fight scenes that kind of separates these movies from the next one and stuff. And I think this one holds its own pretty well. You know, it's a solid film. It's definitely not like a total top shelf one for me, but it's very entertaining. It's very entertaining. I just wish it was a little bit shorter, kind of tightened up, because it does seem like after 113 minutes, you're like, did I watch a lot of fight scenes? But there is a lot. A lot of the middle ones are pretty short, but they're definitely enjoyable for what they are. So yeah, The Flag of Iron, I'm going to give this one a solid 7.5 out of 10. Not a whole much more to say about it, really, without really kind of spoiling everything and stuff. But like I said, you know, it's a film about, you know, family and betrayal and even keeping your enemies close and trusting your enemies. There's a lot of little different kind of things that are going on in this one. You see those things in a lot of Shaw Brothers movies, but, you know, this one really kind of, you know, it really kind of showcases it hardcore in this one. So, but yeah, fun stuff. So we got The Flag of Iron from 1980. You know, it definitely has some features on here, man. It's got an audio commentary. Now, the audio commentaries of these are really interesting. I have listened to a couple of the ones on prior releases. And, you know, if you're into Shaw Brothers and the history of Shaw Brothers stuff, they really do give you a lot of insight into, you know, the directors and just a lot of history with these things. So it's pretty cool. Actually, the guy that plays Iron Monkey in this movie actually died super young. I actually knew that too. I can't remember what his name is. I'm so bad with the names on here. But he actually died like when he was 40 years old, which is kind of a shame because he was pretty good. He was awesome. So, but yeah, check this out from 88 Films. It's out now. In fact, I think it's been out for a little bit. So yeah, Flag of Iron, 7.5 out of 10. Very, very solid Shaw Brothers films. And that's going to conclude ILLMented Reviews episode 4. I got to keep track of these, all these different series. So, but yeah, I'll be back with another one of these Shaw Brothers films in episode 5. So stay tuned for that, and I'll talk to you guys later. And as usual, deuces.